So, the ring, okay? When you look at it, right, or even at the bus, okay, it's awfully democratic, very egalitarian, as if, all of these computers are all created equal and we, recognize they all have their rights to pursue life and happiness or something. Anyway, in real life, nodes are almost never created equal. Almost never, okay? Because some are more important than others, and some are less important than others, right? So that gave birth to a kind of topology called the star. The star. What's a star look like? Well, you'll have one node in the middle, okay, which has illusions of grandeur, and says, look, I'm the most important guy here. All the rest of you guys, you connect to me. Okay? Now, what that guy in the middle is, it can change depending on what kind of network this is, right? But how does it work if one guy wants to communicate with another? They must go through this center thing, okay? And the center thing could be a variety of things. It could be another computer, just a regular old node. It could be a kind of server, like a proxy server, or a web server, or a file server. It could be just like a modem, or a hub, or a switch, or a router, and we're going to talk about all the differences between those. The key is, there's one thing that everyone else is connected to, okay? If a message wants to pass from here to here, you've got to go through that central node, okay? Now, just quick, advantages, okay? Can you see, this overcomes that last weakness we were talking about, right? Which is that if one of these nodes is busted, okay, so long as it's not the one that you're communicating with, no problems, okay? This guy gets busted, he breaks down the whole ring, okay, and there's a traffic jam. But here, if you want to communicate with this one, and this one gets busted, no problems, okay? Just keep on going. But by the same token, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. By the same concept, principle, if this guy in the middle, the central node, is busted, everything is catastrophically failure, okay? And in fact, that can mean more than what you've got up here, right? In a ring network, if one is busted, right, that means you can't communicate with the rest of the people in the network, which might be inconvenient to you, but at least you can keep on working away, okay? But often what you have here in a star network, remember I was telling you before about file servers, right, which is like a glorified hard drive. So you often get this kind of arrangement when your computer's here on the edges, right, which we often call clients. These clients, they don't have any hard drive storage space of their own, right? And so all of their stuff, their files, their programs are stored here. When this guy goes down, these guys don't like, oh, it's a bit inconvenient, but we'll just keep on marching on. These guys cease to function, okay? They lose basic abilities, okay? So it really depends on what this central guy is, okay? So it can go both ways. It can be less redundant or it can be more, okay? That's the star network. I already talked through some of these. Let's keep going. This star network, it works when there's one kind of node which is more important than others, okay? But sometimes you don't just have one that is more important than all the rest, right? You've got a whole hierarchy of ones that are more important than others, okay? So sometimes you get a diagram that looks a bit like this, a topology that looks like this. What's this? Now, if you look at it kind of upside down, kind of looks like a tree, right? I suppose you could actually say it looks like a tree's roots, I guess. I'm drawing it upside down because this tends to mean, like I said hierarchy before, right? So this is a hierarchical sort of design, and the more important nodes are closer to the top. Okay? So this is actually often called a hierarchy. Okay, so you often will get this in an organization or a company. Okay, you're like, if you might be a pleb down here, and you only need to know or be connected to your manager's computer, and these guys only need to be connected to, the VP of their section or whatever it is. Okay, now I've run out of time, so I'll quickly just tell you what the last one is and draw it, and I'll leave the advantages, disadvantages to you. The last one is where you've got a set of computers, right? But it just won't do in terms of security or in terms of speed to be able to connect to just the next guy and the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. You need some more direct connections. So what we do is we draw more. I think I'm done actually. Let me just add in one more. There we go. Okay. So what's this? What's it look like? Well, physically the closest shape that they call this to is a mesh. Right? So there are two kinds of mesh. There's a full mesh, like this one, where everything is connected to everything else. Okay? And there's what we call a partial mesh, which is you're connected to multiple ones, but not necessarily every single one. Okay? So